Howdy, everybody! Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Ben, and welcome to our new channel we started up.
My name's Caleb.
My name is Preston.
I'm James.
And welcome to the Adequate Rejects. We're here today to talk about the Oscar nominations for Best Picture, because since we're going to do a Oscar live reaction, and because everyone knows the Oscars can be kind of controversial.
What?
Nah. So,
what are you doing?
I'm just chewing up the scenery.
we're going to first start talking about Birdman. So, I'm going to start out with Preston. What did you think of Birdman?
I thought Birdman was pretty close to a masterpiece, I must say. I thought it was a brilliant encapsulation of a director's social commentary on the blockbusters of the day and how sort of closed-minded the average moviegoer can be as far as deciding what movies they're going to watch, as far as the important films versus the blockbusters that they're used to. And I think it's a brilliant commentary on how you have this actor and he's thrown in the midst of this emotional roller coaster, epitomized by the fact the movie's shot to look like one long take of all these different emotions, of all these brilliant performances, centered around this one guy who's trying to balance it all and trying to come back from his own blockbuster failings. And I think it's a brilliant film, if nothing else, for that.
No, yeah, I totally agree. It's definitely a performance of a lifetime for Michael Keaton, at least, because this role was pretty much specifically for him, because if you didn't realize, Batman, that's the symbolism behind the movie. It's just like...
But Herbie Fully Loaded was easily his best performance of all time.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice is up there, but Herbie Fully Loaded was just... Yeah.
Was he in that movie?
Yeah, he played Lindsay Lohan's dad.
I didn't know that.
I was going to say Mr. Mom and Jackie Brown. And
I'm
all the
joking.
other
I'm totally joking about the Herbie Fully
I-
Loaded. It's so bad.
But yeah, I definitely think this is Keaton's best performance that he's ever given. That's my opinion. And I 100% think that he should win the Oscar for this, because the whole movie is just focused on him, and it's like one long take. So he really has to get out that performance, because it's this one long take, and it's always focused on him and the emotions. And that's really hard, because in all these other movies you have these cuts, and you can have as many tries as you want, but he had to perfect his lines and his performance for these long takes, and I think that was amazing.
I love Birdman so much is because it's such a commentary on, and almost a satire on audiences today with film. It's like it's straight up makes fun of Transformers in the most beautiful of ways, because it's just saying the basic message of the film is no one wants drama, no one wants well thought out characters or plot. Everyone wants boom 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 all up in your face, like. Transformers, as much as I love Avengers, it still falls in that category somewhat, even though Avengers is a lot smarter than Transformers by a mile.
Well, you mean...
But Transformers 4 was a masterpiece.
God, no!
I thought it was.
The reason I love Birdman so much is because I just kind of view it as Michael Keaton after Batman. Mm-hmm. Because, the reason I think he was perfect for that role is because after Batman, he did things like Herbie Fully Loaded, and Beetlejuice is great, but I mean...
It was before.
That was before.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
It was
okay.
a couple years
Which he had
before.
some great stuff along the way. Like, I'm a big Jackie Brown fan. But,
But he's not the main character of that.
Oh, of course not, no.
But it's like...
But, not even Keaton, all the performances were great. Edward
Yeah.
Norton was great. Amy Watson was
Edward
great.
Norton playing what
He was playing himself.
He was just being Edward Norton.
Do you think Birdman should win Best Picture?
Yes. My logic is, okay. The big debate between the Best Picture, who should win, is mainly between Birdman and Boyhood. And as much as I love Boyhood, I feel like the Best Picture should always go to the movie that is a brilliant film, the best brilliant film of the year that most people aren't going to go see. My argument is that most people who are into Oscar films will see Boyhood because of the methodology of it. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Whereas Birdman is easily the best satire of the year, best cinematography of the year, best some of the best editing, some of the best performances, and I think it deserves to be seen by as many eyes and heard by as many ears as possible. So
it's also a very smart film. It's not pretentious where it's like I think I'm better than you.
It does something original.
It's a film, but it's not a I'm
film.
better than you kind of film. Like
I got you.
Like some of the others on this list.
I think we've been on Birdman long enough. So let's move on to our next movie, Boyhood. Yeah.
Boyhood.
What did you think about it, Caleb?
It was great because I grew up in the 90s as a young white child.
Well, I can see where you come from.
It's like I'm watching that movie because you and I we've been friends for 14 years, so it's like we're watching it and it's like, oh hey, you and I did that together as kids, and it was really surreal to kind of see that kind of nostalgia come back. I mean, I agree with some of the people's like kind of complaints. I get it. It's like, but I think it was a really well made. It's a great landmark in filmmaking in terms of directing because I mean, 12 years. That's a lot of dedication.
Yeah, there's really
that's a lot of dedication.
Like last year's Best Picture winner.
Yeah. Anyway.
Boyhood, I think I would have liked it if I got to see more than 10 minutes of it.
Oh,
Power went out. I got a free ticket though.
Okay.
Well,
Preston, what you think?
well, coming in, because y'all two saw it together, and I saw it separately, and I did love it. I definitely do think it's a landmark in cinema. And even though I think the way Boyhood was made is definitely the most, what's the right word? The most challenging out of any movie on this list, or any movie of the last few years. I almost don't want it to win Best Picture because, like I said before, I think everyone's heard about the 12-year thing, and I definitely think the people who are going to see it are going to see it. As relatable of a coming-of-age movie as it is to the critically minded and film buffs, I definitely think that the fact that you have to be a white kid who grew up in the 90s is definitely going to turn some people off. Because
And that kid grows up to be a dick.
Yeah.
He grows up to be a dick.
Yeah.
It's a bit.
You're like, oh, I hate you now.
A 16-year-old wasn't a dick.
That's true.
Truth.
That's true.
I mean, I was perfect. But
Boyhood, it was very moving in a way because you just like seeing this boy grow up, but also that can be like a complaint with some people because I've heard people like, oh, it's so boring. It's 3 hours. You see this kid I don't care about and who has bad acting.
Life's really boring.
Yeah, and that's why I liked it because it's really down to earth and it's just like life. Best Picture? No, I don't think it should win Best Picture. Will it win?
It could. It will win director. It'll win director.
It'll win director.
It's gonna be. I think Boyhood this year is gonna be kind of like. In a way, I'm not comparing it in terms of award wins, but kind of like what Gravity was last year, it's going to win Best Director for the technical aspect. As far as Best Picture goes, I think the Academy will recognize, okay, there's far more important films.
Like the Lego Movie.
We don't talk about that. It still hurts. Patricia Arquette, though, should win supporting actress.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, because you watch
great.
her slowly degrade.
Yeah, like
it's like, oh, you were really hot, and then you're like, oh,
smoked too much.
What happened? Patricia Arquette, no.
It was True Romance at first sight.
And then it just went downhill. Then it was like CSI in the middle. It was like,
Then she becomes Leatherface. It's
oh my god.
Yeah, Boyhood is an origin story on both aspects.
You're watching Boyhood, you're like, everyone else is getting older except Ethan Hawke. And I'm pretty sure he's drinking the blood of newborn infants because he does not age. He's like Keanu Reeves. It's like...
Pretty much.
It's like, oh, you're 50.
Born in,
Jesus.
It's like he should be... Ethan Hawke should be nominated for playing John Wick.
Right? It's like...
I mean...
By the way,
John Wick, best
go see John Wick.
John Wick is...
John Wick, go see it.
Out on Blu-ray last week. Get it.
Yeah.
No, but definitely. And with L.R. Coltrane, even though he's not nominated, I think he did a serviceable job, and this is going to be a controversial opinion, but I don't think he was the... I personally don't think he did a necessarily great job because...
In what?
In Boyhood.
Oh,
it was the main character's name.
Oh,
what
his
was
name?
His real name?
I didn't even know
In
his
real
name.
life?
I just saw myself.
Okay. Next on the list is Whiplash. I will go off on this one because I've seen this movie 3 times now. So, Whiplash is my personal favorite movie of the year, and woo! That movie, if you haven't seen it, go see it, because out of all the movies on this list, I think it is the most insane, and easily the most insane and the most enjoyable to watch, in my opinion. For any moviegoer, like, I could argue that some moviegoers wouldn't like Boyhood, some moviegoers wouldn't like Birdman, but with Whiplash, it's a very accessible film, in my opinion, and I can't even get my emotion about it because how awesome it is. We all agree at this table that it's a masterpiece, I would say. Even James thinks it's a masterpiece. So.
Who are you?
What's that supposed to mean? It reminded me of high school jazz band, where my jazz band teacher would make fun of us because we couldn't play shit right.
Did he throw a chair at your head?
He never threw a chair at my head. He got pretty close to throwing music sometimes. But that's what it reminded me of, and it was just my favorite movie.
Oh, definitely.
And 12 out of 10.
There you go. There you have it.
Yeah. See, personally, as a drummer myself, anyway, this is also my favorite movie of the year because not only does it really embody the chemistry of these two characters very well, you know what I mean? It's like J.K., he's playing Arlie Ermey meets J. Jonah Jameson. It's the best way to put it. It's like he's just hurling insults at Miles Teller, who should have been nominated for Best Actor. I'm sorry, he really should have, in my opinion. Like, at least over a certain person on this list, named Eddie Redmayne, who we'll get into later. But with Whiplash, it's like, I really appreciated the film because of how it kept this steady pace, but at the same time, it was like a giant crescendo, but the editing was phenomenal.
No, like, the film is edited like a piece of music.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
It starts off kind of like slow and then picks up and just unleashes into the third act, which is the best third act.
And as a drummer, I really appreciated.
Falls apart.
As a drummer, I really appreciated the little attention to detail where, like, you know, it shows him actually struggling, trying to get his body to perform at that speed of double time swing and stuff like that, because it is very hard and impossible. I can't play that fast. It's a whole other level. But favorite movie of the year, hands down. But I still think Birdman should win because I think it's the more important film. But yeah,
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. If he doesn't
best supporting actor easily
in 20 years.
Preston,
but Christoph.
Basically, to finish off what they're saying, because I agree with them 100%. And Whiplash is personally my favorite movie of the year as well. I think Whiplash is a masterpiece because what I personally love about it is that it is the inverse of every single music movie ever made, in the sense that every music movie is essentially, okay, I'm a young musician, there's a spark in me, I don't know how to light it, okay, let me get this inspirational teacher to help me with it. Bam! Movie's inspirational. It makes me cry.
8 Mile wasn't inspirational. 8 Mile just got me pumped.
Well, you see, the thing about that is, what I love about Whiplash is that it takes that premise and turns it into a psychological drama.
Right.
And it's funny you say the accessibility of Whiplash, and I agree with that 100% because it takes what the director, Damien Chazelle, perceives as the inaccessible world of jazz drumming, and he makes it accessible by having Miles Teller, who's basically the everyman of the movie, and you're having him challenged by J.K. Simmons, and the movie becomes this weird chess game /
fight scene
musical battle.
It's the best fight scene since John Wick.
Well,
just stop.
And I think it is a movie that keeps on rising with intensity throughout the very end. And I think the real brilliance of it is the fact that you have these two characters, and you never really know if either of them is good or bad.
Did Birdman get nominated for editing?
Yes. I think
No, it didn't.
It didn't?
No, I didn't think so.
Did Whiplash?
Yes.
No, Whiplash. Okay. I know Whiplash did. That's why I was about to say, like, I wanted Birdman to get the editing for the long takes it did, and just edit it into one.
Cinematography.
Yeah, it got cinematography. I wanted to win for cinematography.
some reason.
Birdman's more of a performance film, though.
Yeah, and I definitely want Whiplash to win Best Editing. I think y'all would agree with me on that. And I want J.K. Simmons to get Best Supporting Actor because
certainly
nobody else was as terrifying as he was.
because the thing about the Best
true.
Supporting Actor category is that it should go to an actor where the movie has a great lead performance, but the supporting actor is the one who steals the show.
Right.
kind of like The Dark Knight Rises, or not Rises.
Dark Knight.
No. The Dark Knight, just The Dark Knight.
How everyone else is great, but when Heath Ledger's on,
Or The Fighter, yes.
when he's on, you're watching him.
Yeah.
And Miles Teller, as great as he was, and he definitely deserved Best Picture, I think. Best Actor, sorry. My categories
He
all
was
over
a
the
very
place.
good picture.
Yeah. Okay, well, what else did we get nominated for?
Best Adapted Screenplay, which I think it's going to win.
But
okay.
But that whole thing's weird because like the only reason it's considered adapted is because they used it. They made the short film for promotional reasons, and then they were like, "But that's a whole other thing." So
Okay,
Well, yeah.
Caleb, Whiplash is our favorite. Let's let it win something else.
It's gonna win
besides Best
everything.
Supporting.
Yeah.
It's gonna win everything.
Editing, supporting.
theory of everything.
Okay,
Every time
next movie, which I think is going to be kind of short, but since the only one at this table has seen it is him, ironically. But the next movie is Selma, which I'll just let Preston take the reins since I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's excellent. And
Yes, I have to say, the thing about Selma, and the reason why I think it's arguably one of the greatest films about race ever made, is because first off, it's a biopic about Martin Luther King, set in the period where he was organizing the march, starting at Selma to go to Montgomery, Alabama, in 1965, I believe. And what's brilliant about it is that it's a black struggle movie at first, and it sets you. There's a tragedy that happens at the beginning of the film that is so beautifully filmed, despite being so horrific, that completely puts you right in the middle of the '60s and the harsh racism and all the, just all the bad things that happened during the Jim Crow era. And what's great about it, what makes it a masterpiece, is that it begins as a black struggle film and slowly becomes a national struggle film. It's so brilliantly what Ava DuVernay, I believe is her name. What she does is she humanizes all these historical figures, such as George Wallace, played by Tim Roth, and LBJ, played wonderfully by Tom Wilkinson, and especially David Oyelowo as Martin Luther King. And
do you think he got snubbed?
Yes, I do. Because what he does with MLK is he takes a man of faith, a man who we see as almost messianic, as we learn in schools, and he makes him a man of infidelity, makes him a man who had bad eating habits, makes him a man who argued a lot with his wife, and the movie really gets into. The movie does a great job of nailing the negotiatory tactics needed to make peace happen, rather than just being another movie about peace. And the movie casts both blacks and whites in both pragmatic and negative lights, and makes it to where even though not everyone is 100% right all the time, we all need to come together as a nation to make sure that racism will always be suppressed. Even though it's a historical film, a lot of the events that happen in the film are still relevant today, and I think, if nothing else, that's what makes it such a masterpiece.
Sweet. So, would you say the movie Selma is a better movie than the 1990 masterpiece My Friend Martin?
Basically, does this one have time travel?
No.
Then it's not better.
Then it's not better.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go look up My Friend Martin.
It's
if you're a
Our
90s
Friend
kid,
Martin.
It's our friend.
our friend. I'm sorry, it's our friend Martin.
It's all about the equality.
Yeah, but if you know what we're talking about, you probably grew up in the 90s.
Or you were forced to watch it as a kid in elementary school.
Well, that concludes our first part of our Oscar predictions and our thoughts on the best pictures. So we'll continue this in part 2.
Okay,
Yay!
all right.